with guitar playing, sweeping is kind of involved, and it's a more complicated and difficult technique to learn. But I'm gonna try and explain some of the basics at least, and maybe show small sweep that I think is good to start out with if you're not used to sweeping, or yeah. Let's get started! Okay, so for those of you who don't know what sweeping is, this is a D minor, I don't know, sweep. Yeah, it's fast and it's kind of, it seems effortless. It's not effortless. It's a lot of practice and a lot of time has gone into me learning, especially that sweep. I can talk about that particular sweep in another video. When you play each note individually after each other, and they don't bleed into each other or so, they sound apart at the same time as they're sounding like you're just playing it super easily, and so that's kind of what makes sweeping difficult, is to make it sound like it's not like it's a note after each other. It's more of like yeah, like a sweep. It's just sweeping through the notes. Yeah, so the thing I thought I might start with is by explaining the basics, I need something to like show it off on or something. So I thought a 3-string sweep might be good to show that. The one I played is 5 strings, and 5-string sweeping licks are not... It's not something you start with if you're a beginner. So 3 strings is a good way to go. So okay, let's start off. If you start the 3-string sweep I want to start off with is you start on the 17th fret of the E string and you pull up to 13 on the E string, and then you play 15 on the B string and 14 on the G string. And that's all the 4 notes you need to the sweep. Yeah, that's kind of not a proper sweep if you want to be really like correct or so, because if you would have a proper sweep you would have had a note to turn around on, because you are now gonna end up with having 2 strokes on the same note each time you turn the lick around. Let me just show. Yeah, I don't mind that personally, but if you are kind of picky or so, you might. And I start off playing upwards, because when you sweep, you don't pick like you don't have alternate picking or so. When you are sweeping upwards, when you're sweeping upwards, you only have like upstrokes or so. So yeah, like I'm just like it's so bad. Okay. When I'm starting to sweep, when I start on the 17th fret, I always start with an upstroke, because when you are sweeping, you're just facing the pick in one direction. You're not alternate picking, like that's not sweeping, that's alternate picking. Sweeping is just when you hold the pick in one direction, as if you're just... Technically there's nothing fancy to it. It's kind of more difficult for the picking hand at least to have alternate picking or so. But when you are like coordinating both hands with this technique, then it starts to get kind of complicated. So yeah. I always start with an upstroke on the 17th and then I pull off to the 13th. And then it's upstroke on both 15th and the 14th fret. And when I'm coming around again, it's only downstrokes. So yeah, when I'm starting, it's all upstrokes. And when I come down again, it's always downstrokes. And when I land on the 13th, I just hammer on to the 17th. So yeah, that's the sweep. The thing about sweeping, I have talked about this in an earlier video. I'm not gonna make you watch that whole video just because I might reference something. When you are using a metronome, you need to start playing the lick fast, not necessarily with a metronome, but you need to play the lick fast so that you know how you are supposed to be working with your hands, and then you need to slow it down with the metronome and then build speed like 5 or 10 or however many BPMs you want to start or like increase with when you are getting better at it. So with sweeping, the same goes here. You need to start off learning how to basically do the sweep, and it's not very important that it's clean when you are playing it fast as you are starting out. It's just for mostly to get your right hand to be aware, or your picking hand to be aware of how to hold the pick. In your picking hand, you are not supposed, when you are sweeping, or I don't personally, I don't hold the guitar pick super like tight or so. That makes the sweeping really difficult and kind of like static or hockete. I hold it tight enough so I don't drop it, because that would be a bummer. But at the same time, I don't hold it too tight, because when I sweep, for example, downwards, the pick kind of angles itself as the strings are positioned on the guitar pick. I am not making sense at all. I hope you can see this. When I'm picking downwards, the guitar pick is kind of pointing downwards as well, and when I'm picking upwards, it's kind of the pick is kind of angled upwards, so it's kind of following the movement that I am doing, and it wouldn't do that if I was holding it too firmly, because then it would just point whatever direction I have my hand in, and I don't necessarily have my hand pointing downwards or upwards for the guitar pick to be in the best position that it can be to make the sweeping easier. Because if the guitar pick is pointing upwards when you are sweeping the opposite direction, it makes the angle kind of sharp, and it's more difficult to play with it, instead of the pick being like following the strings as you are playing. So yeah, that's basically sweeping, and the thing I recommend when you are learning sweeping is, as I always say, start out by learning the basics of it, and when you have the basics down, then you can slow it down to a level where you get all the notes right, all the technique is in place, and everything is okay. And then you can speed it up as you get better. So yeah, the sweep that we are on now. Also, when I'm sweeping, this is just me personally, my preferences when I sweep, and yeah, it's not like this is how you sweep like a pro. I'm not a pro, and I don't have all the solutions to guitar playing, but this is how I do it. And when I sweep, I as I said, I don't affect the angle of the pick more than the strings do by themselves, because I'm not holding it too tightly, and also I'm not disturbing the pick's movement more than I have to. The strings are helping me move the guitar pick as I kind of go along in the sweep, and I have enough on my mind keeping like the left hand as it shall be. So I don't like to interfere with whatever the guitar pick wants to do. So the angle is kind of up to the strings, whatever direction I'm going, the guitar pick just changes kind of automatically. I don't use this movement that much, and when I sweep I try to avoid it completely. I might like have some cheat moves here and there in my alternate picking by moving like this, but when I sweep I try to avoid it completely, because the guitar pick just needs to go straight up and straight down, and the angles is, as I said, positioned by the strings themselves. So I try to not involve any more like disturbances than needed. So yeah. Brief kind of introduction to sweeping. I think I might make more videos about sweeping, and if you want me to do that, just please let me know in the comments. And if you have any other lesson suggestions or song requests for my other YouTube channel, just leave them down below on the YouTube comment section, or on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. And yeah, I'll see you next time! Bye! I want to change that. Hello? Hand is moving.